Hey guys, good morning and welcome to another publishing room. My name is Bree Smith. I am the founder and CEO of Kingdompreneur Publishing LLC. All right. And the publishing room is where kingdom authors meet, right, to come and learn how to publish their books and position their books with excellence. Okay. So we are here, right, to help you guys be able to push, right, publish your books with purpose. And today we're going to talk about, okay, publishing is only step one in the process. We're going to talk about how authors build visibility after their book launch. And this is a very important lesson, guys, because there's so many misconceptions out there when it comes to publishing. Some people believe, right, um, that as soon as they publish their books, just because they publish their books, people are going to be flying off the handle to buy their books. But that is not the case, right? Like I've been teaching you guys before, if you have not properly positioned yourself in the marketplace, right? Number one, understanding who your target audience is, right? And number two, right? Well, really, number one, the target audience and the problem that target audience wants you to solve, right? So your book should be positioned to do that. It needs to solve a problem for a particular audience, right? But once we've done that, now it's all about communicating and marketing that book for that particular target audience, all right? And so some other misconceptions, people believe if I build it, they will come. That's a lie. Okay. People are not going to come and buy your book just because you published it. You might be able to get your mama, your cousin and them, your best friend, homie, whoever else you know to come and buy your book. But once they bought your book, like I said, if you have not properly positioned yourself in the marketplace and you're not actively marketing that book, promoting that book, people are not going to buy your book. Okay. And then also, too, guys, there could be a lot of confusion when books don't gain traction. Okay. So remember, publishing creates availability, but visibility creates what? Opportunity. All right. Creates opportunity. So, why do great books go unseen? All right. So, number one is the lack of visibility. You don't have strategy, you have no plan before and no plan after the launch. Guys, I want you to think about your favorite movie. Okay. Um, like I said, your favorite movie or favorite franchise or whatever, right? It could be Star Wars. Some of you guys are into that, like certain, just like, what else is a good movie? Oh, even TV shows like The Chosen. Think about even like House of David. Just think about, like I said, just like your favorite talk show or your favorite TV show, right? Before you even were introduced to that show, what did they do? They gave you previews. The movie does what? It gives you previews of what's to come. And every time you go to the movies or every time you're watching a talk show or a television show, right? Or even, social media, there's ads, right? There's advertisements that is getting you what? Bringing enticement, right? Bringing enticement and excitement for you to go watch this talk show, this podcast, this television show, or a movie, right? You're getting excited. It's the same thing with your book, right? You have to but those people did what? They created a strategy, a launch plan. So the book or the movie, right, or the television talk show or the podcast was already produced, but they were like, okay, we know who our target market is. We know what problem we're helping to solve for that market. And this particular talk show, movie, podcast, television show is going to help solve that problem, right? The crisis in that particular genre, right? And they create a strategy around it. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, like I said, they don't create strategy. And a part of that strategy is what? Is those advertisements. All right. Number two, there's no audience positioning. Like I've been telling y'all before, people don't know. They just write their whole story. And like I said, that's beautiful, but you need to write your story in smaller segments into like memoir type of books, right? Because like I said, who is it? Who are you marketing your book to? Oh, well, my story can go to anybody. No, we need to focus on one portion of your story. And so, like I had given the example before, I talked about domestic violence, right? And you can have two category of women that you're talking to. The first category of women could be for a book that you're writing to teach people the signs that they're in a domestic violence relationship, and you're showing them how to get out of that situation. That's number one. But the second target audience, even though domestic violence is the overall theme, right? You have another audience, and you could write a book particularly for the people that's already been out of domestic violence, but now they need help with healing and learning to trust again and going through deliverance and things of that nature. Then that book is for that particular audience. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it may be about domestic violence, but are we talking about the beginning portion of domestic violence? Or are we talking about person that's coming out of it, right? And they're needing help on how to regain their life back. You know what I mean? And like I said, if you don't know who your target audience is, right, your target market, your target demographic, and you don't know the problem that you're helping to solve, you're not going anywhere with that book. Number three, inconsistent promotion. People get online and they talk about they product, they service one time. You be like, huh? Like, it takes, right? We learn in school, right? Because a lot of y'all know, some of y'all don't know, but I have an MBA, okay? Um, in school they teach us in marketing, it takes somebody at least minimum 7 times before somebody will actually come and really try to investigate you. They need to see it at least minimum 7 times where somebody will even be excited. So that's why you have to always constantly keep putting out promotions. I know you be like, man, I feel like I'm putting out the same promotion. Don't stop. Put it in your stories. Put it in, IG, on your Facebook, right? Do lives, do things like I'm doing right now, this live broadcast, right? Get people introduced to what you're doing, right? Introduce to your book, get them excited. Because if not, like I said, nobody's going to come and purchase that book. Number four, you have no authority platform, right? You have no brand, no message, no presence, right? And like I said, when you're thinking, and I know some people are like, I don't want to be like stuck in one particular type of genre. I want to write different types of books, right? You want to set yourself up, but you want to set yourself up as an authority, as an expert in a particular field, right? Not to say you can never branch all out, but you want to set yourself up as an expert. And so that's why I was saying, like, learning to create not just a book, but what is your ecosystem, right? Like, okay, can you like create a book club or out of your book, or can you create some type of study out of your book? Can you create a marketing um or a course, right? Like some type of coaching or a course out of your book. Like, what can you create from your book, right? That's going to set yourself up as an expert, and not just talk about your book. Remember, your book is just to help solve the problem, but you have to really be an expert on the problem, right? Talking about, people's pain points and all that type of stuff. You want to be talking about that, and then, like I said, set your book up as the thing that's going to help solve that particular problem for them. Okay, that's the strategy for that. Some people, like I said, no strategic exposure. They're not leveraging interviews. They're not trying to get media. They're not doing collaborations. You need to be putting yourself out there, right? Um, y'all heard the saying. Some people say, your net worth is really equated to your network. You know what I mean? So you're going to have to put yourself out there. And if you're a person like, man, I'm not really trying to put myself out there like that, it's going to be really hard for you to sell a book. You're going to have to put yourself out there. All right. And the more you can get on, like I said, podcasts, the more you can do media. And like I said, promoting that book everywhere you go, the more better off you're going to be in order to like try to sell, right? Market and sell that book. So remember, a powerful message without visibility remains unheard. So what authors should be doing after publishing? All right. Number one, you need to be promoting your book daily. Okay. Through social media content. And I don't want to just see a picture of your book. I want you talking about what? The problem that your book helps to solve. What is the problem? Who is my target audience? Speaking to that target audience and talking about, right, the pain points. I'm talking about the pain points. And then I'm going to talk about my book and how my book helps to solve those pain points, right? Or help solve that particular problem. And it has to be consistent messaging across the board. Okay. Number two, you need visibility. Okay. You need to be getting on interviews, podcasts, speaking opportunities. Sometimes, like I said, you got to learn to build your own table because somebody might not ever invite you to their table, but you learn to position yourself as an expert. You need to be, as soon as you publish your book, okay, this is what this is my suggestion. And this is for anybody that works with me. I tell people, listen, we're not just going to have a virtual book launch for you. We're going to set this up as a speaking opportunity for you. Okay. And you're going to talk to your particular target audience. Not to say that you can't invite your friends or family to that. You can. But like I said, like you can be doing that with just like a regular call to write interview with us, right? Getting your family and friends and all that to come into that. But I'm talking about we're setting up like a particular this is a launch strategy, right? You get people excited about your book because it's going to solve a particular problem, right? But you're not going to just talk about the book. You're talking about, like I said, the problem, right? And then you're going to set yourself up to be able, right, to present that book after you have done that. Okay. But like I said, but before then, you should be having what? Before you have this big event, this big virtual event, you should be having podcast interviews, press releases, talking about the big event. You're getting everybody excited. So by the time you've done all like your podcast tours, you've done your press releases, you've done all these different speaking opportunities, you've come online, you've got people so excited for this, right? People have already would have been started buying your book. Okay, that's number one. But you're getting people excited for this event. And for those people that didn't buy the book, listen, include that in your ticket sale. Listen, hey, listen, they're going to get a copy of the ebook from the ticket sale. You might even create a workbook around it. You know what I mean? But you're doing some type of master class or a workshop. Like I said, you're getting the people excited, but you're having some type of strategy, right? I'm dropping nuggets to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like on how to truly position yourself as a subject matter authority. And you can always be doing that. And then once you do your master class, listen, you ain't got to stop there. You can say, hey, I have a program, right? I'm a coach. I'm walking people through this. Or listen, we have a 10-week workshop where we're walking through this. Or you know what I mean? So, like I said, don't just stop at the book. Learn how to position yourself, right? And that's the next thing. Position yourself, aligning your book with your message, right? And your audience. Position yourself as a brand. Okay, you have to position yourself as a brand because if you're not positioning yourself as a brand, whoo. But like I said, you want to be a subject matter expert. You want to be an expert on what you're talking about. And your book and your other products and services are just going to help you, right, to elevate you as that expert. You also want to be consistent in your marketing. It's not a one-time launch. Like I said, you want to be strategic. You want to create a marketing plan from start to finish. Because if you're not doing that, it's going to be a problem. So you want to make sure you're doing that. And then last but not least, guys, platform building. And so that's what? Number one, email list. So how do you create an email list? Well, you want to give something away for free. So I don't care if that's like a free chapter of your book. Um, like I said, if you want to do something, like I said, because your book helps to solve a particular problem, maybe you're giving somebody just general steps, like you're creating a little guide or a checklist for them, and they're downloading that in exchange for your email. And then you're going to always continuously on a weekly basis. You ain't got to send them an email every single day. Some people send people stuff every day. I think that's a little annoying. But at least sending them something weekly, connecting with them, right? You want to build community with them. Create a Facebook group, get you a Patreon, right? There's school out there. There's different platforms for you to be able to create community. Create a community around the problem that you're helping to solve and create your brand presence, right? You got to understand, books don't grow on their own. Visibility is built intentionally. You have to be intentional about building visibility. And like I said, you need to be doing podcast interviews. If you can get, if your book is so good that you could get on the news, do your best to get on the news, get media exposure, right? Get on the radio with your book. Like I said, do get some type of speaking opportunities, right? And like I said, try to be like, there's a lot of podcasts out there that's always looking for guests that's going to fit that particular audience. Pitch yourself to these different podcasts and tell them how, your book, right, is going to help solve their particular problem for their audience. Get out there, do press releases. Like I said, go live, right? Like I said, create content. That's what you're going to do, right? To set yourself up for success. Because that's the only way that you're going to be successful in getting your book sold. Okay? You're going to have to do those things. Remember, I told y'all at the beginning of this that when you become an author, you're also becoming what? A business owner, right? And businesses do what? They help to solve problems. Businesses were created to help solve problems. Your book, right? The whole ecosystem that you're building is a business, from books to coaching to online courses, all of that, right? This is creating an ecosystem to help solve a particular problem. So now you have established yourself. You have went from just being an author, right, to an entrepreneur. You want to be a what? An authorpreneur, a kingdompreneur, right? That's what you want, and that's what we're all about. Okay. So how does Kingdompreneur Publishing help support visibility? Well, listen, we have marketing promotional services. We have our author spotlights interview. I told y'all before, we have an interview. We used to do the author push. Now it's called Call to Write, where we invite authors out onto our platform and we interview them regarding that. And then, like I said, that's always something that you can put on your YouTube pages. You can put that on your website, all of that, right? Also, too, we help you with social media promotion. So we're going to promote you on our social media platforms, right? You at least get 1 week of social media with all our packages, minimum 1 week, depending on which level you go up, whether you're going to get 2 weeks or you're going to get a month. But all packages, you at least going to get 1 week of social media promotion every single day on all our social media pages, and you're going to get 3 reels. Not a lot of people is doing that in their packages. And that's what sets us apart. And we're going to help you get visibility strategy, right? Like, guys, listen, like I said, sometimes people are not going to invite you to sit at their table, but that's okay. You learn to build your own table and you go out there. Like I said, when you're doing your events, like I said, I know I'm helping an apostle right now with her book, publishing her book. And we're her biggest thing is like, listen, Brie, I'm trying to get my book out before I do my revival at the end of April. Listen, we're pushing this book out. We're working on this book right now, getting it published so that she can already have physical copies in hand, already have them ordered, so that she can go ahead and start selling those books, right, as a way to get more money in to help her ministry, right, to get her ministry off the ground. And so, listen, it is possible, guys, to do stuff like this. But I'm telling you, you're going to have to do the work. It's not going to be done for you. You still got to do your part. And if you choose to hire a publisher such as myself, we're going to do our part, right? But you got to make sure you do your part. We also offer, of course, guys, we do publishing and marketing services. If you just need to do a consult, right? You just want a consult where you're just getting strategy on how to get long-term visibility and growth. Sit down, have a conversation with us, right? There is a link in the description box below. And so all you have to do, click that link, or if you want to, you can email us at info@kingdompreneurpublishing.com. And then also too, feel free to DM me, right? Check out our website at kingdompreneurpublishing.com. We would love to hear from you if you need help with your book, whether you want us to publish your book, whether you want to do an author consult or you need a publishing consult or you want a brand strategy consult, please sit down with us. We would love to talk with you. All right. And so if your book is published or you're preparing to publish and you want to ensure your message is actually reaching the right people, right? That's exactly what our marketing, promotional, and consulting services are designed to support. Okay, so feel free to hit us up anytime. And this concludes another episode with the Publishing Room. And until next time, guys,